back to another episode. And you know, I'm Tammy Marshall with Lueur Health Wellness, your favorite family nurse practitioner. And we have the esteemed pleasure of speaking with Helsa from Aurora House right here in Cedar Hill. So, Helsa, I want you to tell people, what do you do?
So I own a yoga and meditation studio. It's a boutique wellness studio that has a combination of meditation classes, Pilates, as well as yoga.
Oh, Pilates and yoga and meditation. She said all the things. So the reason why I wanted Helsa to talk to you all today is because Stress has been an underlying thing not only in chronic diseases, but the way that you show up authentically in the world and the way that you can manage or be a better version of yourself is dictated on how we are able to mitigate the stress in our lives. So today we want to talk about yoga, some of the common questions about it and like little things that we've heard about it, and she'll break that all down and then also talk about what it does holistically in the body. So I want to start with a story. Before I got pregnant, I wasn't doing any yoga. Got pregnant with our first kid. I was stressed, didn't realize I was stressed. And second time, I did yoga. Huge difference.
100%.
I didn't have postpartum depression the second time. I was really in tune with my body. I learned that Ujjayi breath, which she'll teach you, and it really helped me to recenter. So I want you to talk about like, what is yoga and can Christians do it?
I love that question. So what is yoga? Yoga means union. And so if you think about body, mind, and spirit coming together, that's truly what yoga is. Yeah. For me, it's a way to use your body to help me better understand myself physically, but also mentally and emotionally. And your second question, which I love and it comes up a lot, can Christians do it? 100%. Yoga is not attached to any type of denomination or religion. It's truly a practice to help you better understand yourself. Yeah. So for me, like I mentioned, yoga is using your body to better understand yourself. And when you're able to better understand yourself, you're able to show up for people better, be a better, partner. A better family member, a better parent. And I also think it makes you a better Christian.
Yes.
For me, I think meditation especially was a tool that really helped me deepen my faith. Because if you think about a relationship, communication is the most important part of a relationship. But if I'm only spending my time praying to God and, bringing my things to the altar, but I'm not quieting my mind enough to be still and to hear Him, then I'm not doing my part in a relationship. And so for me, meditation was that tool. So 100%, I believe that Christians can do yoga.
Yes. And so sometimes what you'll hear as you're going through these different asanas or positions, your instructor is going to tell you to keep in alignment with your breath, right? And for me, that was so important to be intentional with my breath because it's something that I think a lot of us take for granted.
100%.
And there is something that happens beautifully, like we're going to talk about the Ujjayi breath next, but let's explain. What is that Ujjayi breath? Like, what does it sound like?
Well, it sounds like kind of like the ocean in your mouth and in your nose area. And so if you think about the combination of using your breath but also hearing that sound, it can help promote emotional regulation and relaxation.
So can you do an example of a Ujjayi breath?
Sure. So inhaling through the nose, and then when you exhale, you're keeping your mouth, the back of your throat, very open. So your mouth is staying closed, but you're exhaling with your mouth and your throat, your throat nice and open to allow you to hear that sound. So inhaling through the nose, exhaling, throat nice and open in the back of your throat, being able to exhale. So it's a combination of slowing down your breathing as well as the sound that can help promote relaxation.
I love it. So there's something special that happens when you do the Ujjayi breath. And so when you breathe that way, it actually stimulates that vagus nerve to calm you down. 100%. So it helps you regulate that heart rate. Yep. So it's bringing down that heart rate. It helps you to regulate stress hormones, cortisol, brings that down. Blood sugar levels, brings those down. And it makes you more aware of what's more mindful, right? I think of what's going on. So couldn't you do the Ujjayi breath just whenever you feel like it?
Yes, you can definitely do breathe, like the Ujjayi breath, or a variety of different breathing exercises. So I think breath is the most underutilized tool that we have. We always have it with us, and you only pay attention when you can't breathe. So like when allergies come up or something like that. But other than that, we take it for granted. But if people are able to really connect to their breath, it can help them in a lot of different ways. So whether it's Ujjayi breath, there's different breathing techniques, box breathing, 4-7-8 breathing is one of my favorites. You can also do alternate nose breathing. So there's a lot of different ways that you can use breath to help you out. But I think the biggest thing is just, first and foremost, knowing how to breathe properly. A lot of us tend to breathe in our chest. So little shallow, short breaths, and people are not truly filling up their diaphragm and really breathing. And I see that with a lot of my clients. I'll tell them like, okay, take a deep breath, and it's coming all from here. And I'm like, okay, well, we need to like retrain our body to learn how to breathe properly, because not only will it help us, but to your point, it will help with that emotional regulation and stress as well.
Yes. One of the other things that is interesting with our brain too is that it has a hard time differentiating between physical stress and emotional stress. So there was a time like during pregnancy when I was doing the yoga and everything like that. During the second pregnancy, my husband was asking me like, "Why are you breathing like that? Like, what's wrong?" And I'm like, "Nothing's wrong." And he's like, "Well, why did you just go?" And I'm like, I didn't even realize I was doing that anymore. But whenever those same kind of stressful hormones started coming into play, my body automatically reverted me back to a Ujjayi breath for me to ground me and to flush out those toxins, level out those hormones so that I wasn't in a state of stress.
And I think that goes back to my point about what yoga is. Like
Yes.
using yoga, breathing. And once again, yoga is not about just like the physical movement. It does incorporate quieting the mind and meditation, breathing techniques.
Yeah.
When you're able to use all of that, you understand your body better, and your body's able to respond in a way to help you better. But if you don't take the time to slow down, feel your body, practice these different breathing techniques, then when your body comes into that stress, it doesn't know how to react. And so it forces us to stay in a cycle that's not healthy, and yoga helps you break that cycle.
Ooh, that's good. That's good. Because a lot of people, I know culturally, right? Let's take it back some too. Culturally, we have seen a lot of women, I'll just speak for myself. I have seen a lot of women in my family would just hustle, right? And so they will get sick, they would continue to hustle. They'd be stressed, they'd continue to hustle. They come off of work, they're making big 5-course meals. And, and what I learned to associate was that's what it was to be a woman. It's until I got older and realized that some of those qualities are actually maladaptive and were anxiety ridden. Because then I started, whenever I would get a little bit, I had to clean the house. Like I would clean in the first part of my marriage. Like my husband had to tell me like, stop cleaning. Like let's talk about it. And I'm like, no, yeah, I'm good. And I'm cleaning all this stuff. And it was my way to like relieve stress by cleaning. But like, let's dive into that.
That is definitely a common story, especially in households with women of color. A very common story. That's actually my story as well. So I, grew up in a single parent household, saw my mother do everything. She was mom and dad and did everything. And so that's what I thought it was to be a woman, to just push through. She never cried. She just like sucked it up and just did it. And I loved her for that. But at the same time, I realized that she wasn't doing the work to take care of herself. And so in turn, I became a wife. I became a mother. And I emulated what I saw and didn't take the time to take care of myself. And so I reached a point of burnout. And that's when I really had to double down on my yoga and meditation practice and really understand the benefits behind it. But I think that's very common that we just go. And we just push through. And those are a lot of things that we have to unlearn and realize that there's power in slowing down.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes you have to slow down and move fast. And we don't do that.
Oh, that's good. That's a whole word. Slow down to move fast. Let that sink in. I'm so grateful that she's here because, like, we've talked offline and Helsa, you guys just don't understand. She can pour into you. And then I think what's so beautiful about you as well is that you know how to pour back into yourself. So you practice what you preach.
I definitely try.
Yeah.
But sometimes that strong woman moniker does creep back in because it is so ingrained in who I am. But that awareness I have about myself is what has me up. Let me stop. Let me regroup. Let me take time to slow down. So definitely I think people assume like, oh, you teach yoga, you teach meditation, like you're calm all the time, you have it together. Not the case. Not the case. I get triggered. I get frustrated. I get overwhelmed. But I have the tools to help bring me back to ground me, to bring me back to center. And yoga has been a tool. Meditation, breath work, just being physical and active in my body has allowed me to have those tools to regulate myself. So yeah, I pour back into myself, but I have to be intentional, just like I am with my clients. I have to be intentional with myself as well.
Yes, and I think that is what we need to if you don't hear anything else from this message, being intentional with you is very important. Making sure there's boundaries even, not everything that you have to say yes to. And I think culturally, at least for me, it was when I was growing up, I didn't have the luxury of saying no. It was, you're going to do something because I said for you to do it. So that didn't allow my bone or that muscle to be flexed to learn what it means to set boundaries for myself. And so people kind of laugh, gentle parenting and like, what does that mean? And all these things, but it's allowing children to get that voice that we didn't necessarily have, or that I didn't necessarily have growing up, and use it in a respectful way, because there's a respectful way to say no, and then there's a way to say no that's just really disrespectful. But if we can have a dialogue and we can understand each other on why you don't want to do this, then we can foster a solution, and then we grow adults that have a healthier sense of self. So they're not overextending themselves with things that they're doing within the community or at work, and then they're suffering internally. They know when to say no.
Yes, and it's like I said, it's a two-way street. Parents have to do the work themselves, and healing is a process. So it doesn't, like, you can't just go to one yoga class or do one breathing exercise and you're like, oh, I can check that off my list, I'm good. No, it's work. But also to your point of like parents doing the work, but also children. And I bring my kids along this journey. I have 3 boys, and being a boy mom, my house is very loud. And a lot is going on, and it's very, very busy. And so there are times when I'm like, okay, you need to, regulate yourself or calm yourself down, or they're bickering with each other and how to calm themselves down. So they actually started an initiative called Black Boys Meditate, where they actually work with me to make what I do accessible to kids. So like, oh, mommy, like that's cool, but that's for grown-ups. If you do it this way, then kids will get it. And so they've been really good at helping, formulate their own language to talk about mindfulness, talk about meditation and things like that. And it's been beautiful just to have them along the way. But to your point, the earlier the better, to teach kids on how to understand their body, because we have a physical reaction to stress. When they're able to feel that, then they can go into that toolbox like, okay, I need to breathe right now, or maybe I need to move, maybe I need to shake to get my anxiety out. But they have to understand their body to do that. And the younger that they're able to do that, the better. But we also have to model that and do the work with them.
Oh, that's so good. I think, the whole adage, children should be seen and not heard. That can be damaging too. And so, we're taping this in the last couple of weeks of August, or last week in August, and school started. And one of the things that I noticed, our son, he's 4, was starting to get some anxiety about going to school. And so me as a parent, I'm like, okay, he's crying. When they start crying, it takes longer to get ready. I don't want to, and I don't want to do this. So it was a struggle. I'm really trying to be a conscious parent in this moment because there's clearly something that he's feeling and I need him to articulate what are those feelings. And so one of the things that we talked about was taking his power back.
Love that.
Right? And so we talked about how can we take our power back. So the first day he did go with a tool, which was a flashlight. So whenever you're scared, use your flashlight. Well, he did get his flashlight taken away. Bad mom. But what we learned was he needs to get his power back. And it doesn't have to be a flashlight. He can do it all by himself. And so we went through this, and what getting your power back to you may look like breathing. And that's what it looks like for him. That's something that he's in control of. That's something that he can do when he's at school. And so we talked about doing it. And I said, well, how do you take your power back? And he's like this. And I was like, good. That's how you take your power back. And what was so beautiful to me, we were going through this for the past 3 days. And then one day we're getting out the car, and he looked at me and he said, Mommy, I took my power back. And so I'm watching him get out the car, and I'm like,
proud mommy moment.
He's running with his sister to get in the door. I'm getting all emotional. He's running with his sister to get in the door, and I'm like, that's what it's about. Mm-hmm. It's not beating a child into submission because they're acting out. Like, let's understand why, and let's give them the tools necessary to support them in this season where they feel overwhelmed. Mm-hmm. And just because I may not cry and throw myself down on the floor, maybe behind closed doors, but they're learning how to process all those really big emotions.
But I think parenting in general is less about the kids and more about us.
Ooh, that's good.
Usually when, we're responding or reacting to our kids, we're triggered. It does something to us that bothers us. And so we want to be quiet. We want to keep them.
Yes.
And that has everything to do with us,
yes.
not them. And so that goes back to, you cannot be a mindful parent without doing your work.
Yes.
Because you're going to get triggered no matter what. Yes. Things are going to come up. As you know, being married and having children is like the biggest mirror of all the stuff that you probably tucked away in your subconscious, and then it comes up.
Yeah.
And so something your kid does can trigger you of and you revert back to these bad habits. And so parenting and being a mindful parent is truly about understanding yourself. Because there are times my kids are going to do things and they're going to bother me. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be triggered. I'm going to be upset. Mm-hmm. But my response has nothing to do with them. That has everything to do with how do I want to show up, how am I managing my own emotions, what tools I'm using. So yes, teaching the tools to your son to take his power back, but also saying that to yourself. How can I have take my power back in this moment? Yes. It's a two-way street. It's a two-way street. But we, as parents, are unlearning and relearning so much to show up better for our kids.
Yeah, and do you feel like because of that foundation of yoga helps you to kind of process that better?
It does. It does. And like I said, it's a journey for sure, but motherhood is what really propelled me into it. So I had my first son. I was working as a senior level exec. I was married, and I saw my mother do everything, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, I feel overwhelmed. Why am I drowning? Is something wrong with me if I'm not doing it right? And I remember my mother, she sat down and she started crying. My mother does not cry. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And she says, I didn't show you all the others. I showed you the strong woman, but I was crying. I was overwhelmed, and I didn't make it okay for you to feel that way.
That's good.
And so through my yoga journey, through meditation, and working in the community, working with other clients, that does help me stay more grounded, stay, regulated, but most importantly, I better understand myself.
Yes.
I better understand. So I know my triggers. Yeah. I can, my son can do something, and I can pinpoint exactly why that bothers me now. Yeah. When before I would just get angry.
Right.
But now I'm like, that has nothing to do with him. This is bringing this up for you. Okay, go take a minute to calm down before you respond to him. Yeah. Right?
That's good.
Yeah, so just yoga, I like to say, it's this quote that yoga is a journey to the self through the self.
Ooh.
So you're using your body to better understand yourself mentally, physically, because you're feeling your body, you're slowing down, you're challenging yourselves in ways. And I think sometimes people think, oh, you have to look a certain way to do yoga. No. You have to have a certain body. No. You don't. No. Any body can do yoga. Right. And that's one thing that I try to stress at the Aurora House is making yoga accessible, making people feel really comfortable, because I want people to feel good in their bodies and to understand their bodies.
Yes. And what point of getting snatched at Lueur if you're still stressed out, overwhelmed, and overworked, and don't have the tools?
That's just going to make you revert back to old habits. So you have to have, yoga's a great supplement for a weight loss journey. I don't tell people use yoga as a weight loss tool. No. But it's a great supplement because it's going to help you build healthier habits. You're going to feel better in your body, so then you can stay sustainable with your results.
Yes, I'm loving this conversation. It is just, it's all the things, right? So we broke down, can Christians do yoga? Answer yes. We talked about breathing and different breathing techniques. We talked about, let's talk about asanas. Yes. So what does that even mean? Because I know I said that before.
Asana are just poses. And so if you hear the word asana, all that means is the physical positions that your body is in. And so yoga is a combination of breath, meditation, as well as asana, but also how you live your life. So boundaries, being nice to others, being nice to yourself, things of that nature. But asana is the physical practice of yoga.
Okay. And so she also does sound baths. Yes. Can you tell us about the importance of how you hear things? So just a medical tidbit. Hearing is one of the last senses to go, right? Sometimes when loved ones are in the hospital and they're under anesthesia or all these things that are going on within their body, they can still hear you. And so it's very important to also be mindful of what you're listening to.
Yes.
I mean, the devil was a grand musician. We'll just leave it there. I mean, he was beautiful and a grand musician. So be careful what you allow to enter into your body through your ears. But she has an experience where she guides you through this journey. So let's talk about that.
Sound. I love using sound. I think it's very accessible to get people into a meditative state. So some folks are like, I can't meditate because I can't turn my thoughts off or I can't sit still. And first of all, that's not even meditation, but I think sound's a good way to kind of break down those walls of getting people introduced to this meditative state. So basically, I use a combination of different instruments that are played at different frequencies. It allows your brain to drop into a delta wave state. And so that's like the true state of rest when you start to go into that REM sleep. Yes. So a lot of us go to sleep and still wake up exhausted. You can sleep 8 hours and still wake up exhausted because our brain is so busy, even while we're sleeping. I know there's times I go to sleep and I plan my whole day in my sleep and then I wake up exhausted, right? So to truly get to that REM sleep, your brain has to go to a delta wave state. Sound allows you to get there a little bit quicker. And so it allows your brain to kind of slow down, calm down, and it gives you something to focus on, which is extremely important for a lot of people who are maybe anxious or just very busy or can't quiet their thoughts. The sound gives you something to focus on. By the time you're focusing on that, the sound's doing its job and dropping you into a meditative state.
Wow. So I did not realize all those things that you said. But it makes sense, which is why oftentimes when I see people participate in sound baths, they are like in the zone.
Yes. And sometimes I think people see sound and think it's a little woo, right? And so that's why I'm speaking about the science behind it.
Right.
It like you said, what we hear is truly important. You can hear a song and it can evoke an emotion.
Yes.
Right? You can hear a song and it takes you back to a place or a person, a memory. So like you said, sound is very powerful. So to use sound to give you something to focus on, allowing your brain to drop into that delta wave state, it's a powerful tool to allow you to truly relax you mentally, but also physically because you physically let go as well.
Right. I'm loving this because I remember seeing studies that were done for clients that have Alzheimer's and they have progressed so far that they were having trouble with eating and dressing, the ADLs, activities of daily living. And I remember they played music from the era in which this gentleman knew. And it's like, you could see before the music, he's just the eyes. You can always tell in the eyes when the eyes are just not there. They're just not there anymore. And as the music began to play, that finger started going. It's like the light bulb came on and he was singing every word with the music. He was excited, he was happy, and it turned that part of his brain back on. He was triggered by a memory, by an event back then, and the light switch went on. And so I think it's very important to understand the tools that are available to us, that we no longer have to be in a society where things happen to us. Like we can actively seek out avenues and ways to become the healthiest, happiest version of ourselves.
Yes.
Right. And so that's like why this podcast exists. I want to talk to community experts that are accessible, that I have vetted, that I know that they're in alignment with God. That's important to me. And so I want to make sure that I bring people that I know will be able to help you to a better path of health and wellness through understanding, especially with Helsa, understanding your stress. Because I get that question a lot. Like, my doctor said to be less stressed, but how do I do that? What does that mean? So here are the tools to do that. So Helsa, we're going to do some poses today, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to teach you guys a couple of poses to put you guys, what would you say that we're going to be doing with these poses?
We're going to be doing some restorative poses and some stretches to help us really relieve stress. Okay. So we're going to focus on shoulders, back, and hips. Those tend to be the areas where we carry the most stress and most tension in our body. So I'll give you all a couple of asanas and some poses to help you relax those areas.
All right, so we're going to sashay over to our mat.
So we're going to just do some gentle stretches today to allow us to focus on those high stress areas. Okay. Shoulders, back, and hips. Okay? So the biggest thing that I want you to do today is don't judge your body, don't judge yourself, just be accepting of where you are today as we feel this, okay? And just feel everything mentally as well as physically. Okay? Let's stay nice and grounded through our feet. I want you to roll your shoulders back and open up your chest. We're going to bring our palms forward. Good. And just connect to your breath. Don't try to change your breath. Just breathe naturally. And I want you to tell me, where do you feel tension in your body right now?
In my shoulders.
Okay. Anywhere else?
Maybe lower back.
Okay, good. We'll make sure to hit those areas today. Okay. I'm going to have us just connect movement to breath. All we're going to do is inhale, bring our arms up overhead. Exhale, we're going to bring our arms back down. But I want you to follow your inhale and your exhale, okay? So don't try to follow my pace. You connect to yourself. And practice that Ujjayi breath, inhaling through the nose, exhaling with our mouth closed, opening up the back of our throat. Good. This next time that your arms go up, we're going to keep them up, okay? Keep them up. Let's interlock our fingers, and we're going to push our palms up to the ceiling. There you go. We're going to hold there. I want you to push all the way up, squeezing those shoulder blades together, raising those shoulders to feel the strength. And let's go ahead and release. We're going to bring our arms now back behind us, interlocking our fingers. I want you to roll those shoulders back, opening up that chest, and work to straighten your arms. There you go. Squeeze those shoulder blades together, releasing that tension that you're holding in your upper body. Good, and slowly go ahead and release your hands. We're going to do a deep forward fold. All that means is that we're going to hinge at the hips, bringing our chest closer to our thighs. I want you to bring your hands to your elbows here, and then just hang. You can gently rock back and forth, but try to let go. Sometimes we get a lot of stress because we want to hold on to things and control things. So try to let go and surrender right now. Feeling a stretch in the back of your legs. Good. Let's bring our hands down to the mat. We're going to kind of walk them to the front of our mat as we step our feet back to a high plank. So let's step our feet back. Gently bring your knees down to the mat. We're going to bend through the elbows, bringing our chest to the mat, And then we're gonna push up into a cobra position. Continue to connect to your breath here. Make sure that those shoulders are rolled back, opening up that chest. Good. Let's bring ourselves to a tabletop position now. Stacking our shoulders over our wrists and our hips over our knees. We're going to continue really focusing on our breath here. So we're going to inhale as we arch our back, look up to the ceiling. And then exhale, we're going to round our spine, bringing chin to chest. Good. Let's bring our spine back to a neutral position. I'm going to have a stretch at our upper body here. So we're going to keep our hips where they are as we walk our arms out in front of us, bringing our chin and forehead down towards the mat. Okay. Continue to breathe here. Beautiful. Let's bring ourselves back up to a tabletop position. So at your own pace, bringing yourself back up here. I'm going to have us bring our attention to our hips, okay? So hips, you hold a lot of stress, trauma, emotions, all those things in your hips. Right. Plus, a lot of us sit down a lot for our work and for our jobs. So we're going to show you some stretches to help you release some stress from our hips. We're going to take our right foot and bring it to the outside of our hands. So our hands are going to be on the inside arch here. I want you to push your hips forward and feel this stretch here.
Oh yeah, that's a good stretch, guys.
If this feels good to you, stay here. Some folks like to go down to their forearms.
I can go down.
Meet your body where it is.
Yeah, we're not there yet.
But I'm going to suggest another thing to really help you open up your hip. You're going to roll to the outside edge of that front foot, opening up that knee. Okay. And I want you to breathe here. And use every exhale to go deeper into the stretch, releasing the need to control, and just surrender to your body. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and bring our foot back flat, and we're going to switch sides and do the same thing, okay? So left foot now to the outside of our hands. You're going to push those hips forward, then roll on the outside edge of that front foot. You might feel a difference on one side versus the other too. Depending on how we stand, how we sit, how our body holds weight, one side can be tighter than the other, and that's totally normal. Good. Let's go ahead and roll that foot back flat. We're going to find ourselves back in that tabletop position. I'm going to have us now make our way to our knees. Okay? So we're going to get a deep stretch across our core as well as our lower back. Okay. Back is also an area where we tend to hold a lot of stress as well. So we're going to take our right hand and lift it up to the ceiling. Our left hand we're going to put to the small of our back. Okay. You can also put it down to the back of your leg, your calf, or your foot. Okay, whatever feels good to you. But begin to push your hips forward as you take your head and shoulders back. Once again, that left hand can be the small of your back or go down lower. Continue to breathe. And slowly bring yourself back up. I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. I love how you're continuing to breathe. Sometimes when you're holding poses, people want to continue to breathe. Go ahead and take it back. Pushing those hips forward. And slowly bring it back up. We did right and left, arm up.
Ooh.
So now we're gonna put both hands to the small of our back.
Okay.
Okay? Just like before, push those hips forward as you take the head and shoulders back. And slowly bring yourself back up. How are you feeling?
I feel good.
Good. I'm going to have you now go ahead and just find a seated position.
Okay.
You can have your legs just crossed. That works there.
Okay.
And all we're going to do is take our right ear down to our right shoulder. Okay? As you're here, I want you to really roll this shoulder back and down, allowing you to feel a stretch on this side of your neck. And you can shake your head yes to allow you to kind of stretch out those muscles. This is a good one to do if you're sitting at your desk. You're starting to feel tension in your upper body, just taking your ear down to the shoulder and nodding the head up and down. Let's go ahead and go the other direction. Left ear to left shoulder, same thing. Rolling that right shoulder back and just shaking our head yes. Good. Let's go ahead and bring our head back up to center. Okay. I'm going to have us do one for our shoulders as well. A really good one that you can also do just in a seated position. Let's take our right hand, going to bring it across our body. Left arm is going to pull and hold it here.
There was a little pop, guys.
Slowly roll your wrist if that feels good. Just make sure that you're sitting up nice and tall through the back as you do this to maximize the stretch. And let's slowly go ahead and do the other side. Once again, rolling the wrist if it feels good. Good. Let's go ahead and release. I'm going to have us do some hips as well. This is one of my favorite poses, okay? I'm going to see if it's one of your favorites after we do it. Okay? But what you're going to do, there's different variations that you can do. Let's start off by taking our left leg straight out. You're going to bring your left leg and just cross it over. Okay. And then just sit up nice and tall to the back and just hinge forward. And this might feel really good to you. Okay.
I can feel it.
You feel it right there. Yep, you're gonna feel this a little bit in the hip as well as the back.
Yeah.
For those folks who want to go a little bit deeper into the stretch, you can take your bottom leg and bend it.
Oh, wow.
And then you're going to push down to really open
guys,
that hip.
I try to be like her, but I ain't there yet.
Listen, like I told you, no judgment of our bodies. We accept where we are
We
today.
accept where we are today.
And I think that's the biggest thing about yoga. You just kind of need to connect to your body, understand that, my body got me here and got me this far. That doesn't mean I'm happy with everything, but I accept it where it is and I give gratitude for it.
I give gratitude for it. That's so good.
Good, let's go ahead and lift up and switch. Crossing it over, hinging forward. You should feel this a little bit in your lower back as well as your hip. Good. I'll continue to bring ourselves up. We're going to wrap our legs around, bring ourselves back to this tabletop position. We're going to tuck our back toes and push up into a downward facing dog. Okay? So tuck those back toes, lift the knees, straighten the legs, holding it here. And in this position, I want you to lift your tailbone up to the sky, slight arch in the back, and push your heels down towards the mat. That's going to maximize the stretch.
Yeah!
And if you want to rock back and forth or bend through the legs, be empowered to do that. Good. At your own pace, you're going to take your hands and walk them towards your feet, finding that deep forward fold again. I'm going to have us,
Ooh, look, I can bend deeper.
good. I'm going to have you roll all the way up One vertebrae at a time, allow your head to the last thing to come up. How you feel? Good. So at the beginning of class, you said that you had some tension in your shoulders as well as your back. How are you feeling now?
I feel loose.
Good. So this wouldn't be a little yoga session without a little bit of a balance.
Right.
So I want to have us end with good old tree pose.
Yes.
Okay? So we're going to find stability in our feet. Okay? I want you to shift all your weight to your left foot and just kind of bring the heel of your right foot up.
Okay.
This can be your balance. Okay? So for a lot of people, this is a challenge for them. So I want people to stay here. Because some folks will try to go straight into the pose and then they're moving all over the place. The whole point of balancing is finding stability and connecting to your breath. So this can be your pose right here. If you would like, you can work to take the knee out to the side, and that's a challenge in and of itself as well. But over time, as you increase your balance and stability, you'll be able to bring your leg up.
Okay, let's see, guys. Let's see. Oh.
Focus on your breath.
Oh.
There you go. Good. Let's do the other side, okay? Shifting all the way to the right foot, left foot. Start with the heel up. Then you can take it out to the side. You can stay there, okay? Listen to yourself, or you can work to bring the leg up and find your balance. Take it a breathe. Good, and bring it down. And so, balance, checking in with your balance is also another key of managing stress.
Yes.
Because when you are not balanced in your life, that can show up physically in your practice. I have clients that come in, a lot of things going on, we go to do a pose, and they can't balance. I'm like, because you need to find stillness.
Ooh.
And the only way to find stillness physically in your body is to find stillness in the mind. So that's what I mean when I say yoga is not just a physical practice, but it allows you to, it kind of puts a mirror or like a flashlight on certain things that are going on. Okay, physically I can't balance, so I'm like, hey, what's going on in your life? Oh, I'm dealing with this, and this, and this. It's like, okay, that's showing up for you physically, so then let's focus on the mental aspect of it.
Yes. Oh my gosh. If you guys enjoyed this session, like, you gotta visit her at the Aurora House. Like, how can they get in contact with you?
At the Aurora House. So on Instagram @_ the Aurora House, also at theaurahouse.com, located in Cedar Hill. Boutique wellness studio. I keep all my classes small and intimate so people can feel comfortable, but also so I can give individual attention to support all of my clients.
Oh my gosh, we love that. So for you guys in the Lueur Collective, we will be having private parties for you all over there at the Aurora House. So we're going to be working on that, and so we are so excited to have you guys join us today, and we hope that now that you understand what stress is, you have some of the tools to go ahead and get de-stressed. Until next time!